Okay. So, chapter 1044 was wild, and after reacting and reviewing initially, I definitely needed some more time to get my thoughts together, have conversations with a few other people. I'm sure you guys all did the same, and we're still on a high. Last week's chapter, or should I say 2 weeks ago before the break, 1043, felt like it was one of the hypest moments in the community. Definitely one of the greatest moments before a break in One Piece that I've been following. Look out for a video where I'll be sharing my top 10 moments of the series, because chapter 1044 is definitely by far the greatest. And I definitely wasn't planning to continuously do chapter reviews, but come on, what's happening right now? We got to talk about it. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the chapter. We're mainly here to talk about Joy Boy Gear 5th. We all know what time it is. So if you like more content like this, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It's your boy Game D Champ. And let's jump into the chapter. So chapter opens with the Joy Boy reveal being Luffy officially. That was something that most of the community had theorized as soon as we've gotten more understanding of who Joy Boy was. And it's official that it's more of a title, understanding that, some people were thinking, oh, it's reincarnation, blah, 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 blah. But we know Luffy is still Luffy. It seems that awakening this devil fruit is what considers you to be Joy Boy. So that was my theory last chapter review in 1043 when I was having my discussion with Pirate Hunter Anime. My thoughts were that, this is just a title that once you awaken the devil fruit, you're going to be known as Joy Boy, not necessarily a spirit reincarnating into Luffy. So that's how it opens up. And then it continues on with the conversation with the Gorosei. So this was by far one of the biggest plot twists in not just One Piece, but in manga, any shonen that I've followed so far. I was never expecting this. Chapter 1, we're told this is the rubber Gomu Gomu no Mi, the rubber fruit. And 1,040 something chapters later, we're finding out that it's really a mythical Zoan. No one can tell me they were expecting this. Now, I know a lot of people did theorize once a few chapters ago that Luffy's fruit may be something different, but come on, it's not until once we got this official, reveal of the devil fruit that we can all say like, wow, we were all still shocked. Like, a lot of people were talking about the resin theory as far as it being the numbers jushi, which definitely we'll talk about that, the numbers thing towards the end of this review. But it was a huge reveal. Ridiculous power is what they're calling it, which I don't think that necessarily means overpowered. I think it's saying ridiculous power because of the fact that it's only limited by the user's imagination. So there are plenty of previous users of the devil fruit who have not been able to awaken it because their imagination isn't as wild as Luffy's. So the devil fruit fits perfectly. And I talked about in my theory video with the theory of devil fruits potentially affecting the personality of the user. And now that we get this official reveal, especially for the Zoan types, that they have their own will, it only makes a little bit more sense. So I can't wait for us to get the reveal of Vegapunk, for him to go dive deeper into devil fruits. But once again, we'll save that for a bit more later in the review and also for possibly another video. But anyway, the chapter then switches over to the scene with Hiyori and Orochi. Now, initially reading this, and I'm sure this was most people, it was like, come on, like, we just want to know more about what's happening with Luffy. We don't really care about Orochi. But, on hindsight, this was definitely a well-placed scene. It was kind of necessary for the story for us to know what's happening with them and, hopefully officially get rid of Orochi and Kazenbo, Kanjuro, whatever. I thought we were done with that, but if this is going to be the end of it, I'll be happy because, we wanted to move on from that plot point. I thought Hiyori was about to kill Orochi for a minute, though. When she was given that speech, It was definitely a bit emotional, you know, seeing Hiyori's face when she was, you know, defending her father's honor. It was amazing. And I think you got a little bit of a parallel with Odin and Luffy here. You know, Odin was trying to liberate Wano and he was doing it his way with a smile, doing these ridiculous dances. And he was unable to do it, but he died with a smile. And now Luffy is taking on that mantle of continuing to free Wano, which is exactly what Odin had predicted, that 20 years later there will be a group of pirates that will be coming into the new world to unseat Kaido. So moving on, because now we got back to Luffy. So this is what we wanted to talk about. So Luffy jumps up and we see him in that silhouette where they're comparing it once again to Sun God Nika, because this is the official name of the fruit. It is the human fruit, mythical devil fruit, human fruit model Nika. So we've have a few other human fruits. The first one was the one of Chopper. Then we found out that Sengoku, the Buddha, and then also even in this, you know, this arc, I should say itself, we had another mythical human fruit, which was
a few moments later.
We got another mythical human fruit, which Onimaru ate. I forget the name of the devil fruit right now, but he was able to turn into a person and he can actually shapeshift. So this is now the fourth human fruit that we know of, and the third mythical human fruit. And it makes sense. This arc had a plethora of mythical Zoans, so Oda knew he picked a great timing for the reveal of this devil fruit. So now onwards to the abilities, because this is where a lot of people, from what I've been understanding, that, you know, it's kind of been split amongst the community as far as how they accepted this. You know, a lot of people loved it, and then there were a lot of people who didn't really like it too much. They felt that it was a bit too cartoony, too zany. I loved it personally because I think it fits right into Luffy's personality, because he can basically use his imagination to do whatever he wants. And now it seems as though his devil fruit has properties of multiple types. They say it's a Zoan, but his awakening seems like it's almost like a paramecia, where he can affect the environment around him. He was able to grab the ground and turn it into rubber to bounce back Kaido's blast breath. And this is peak. This is amazing. When Luffy was saying this is my peak, I was like, this is peak fiction. But yeah, no, this was definitely an amazing reveal. And now that once we've seen Luffy fully in his then we see Luffy in his fully in his Gear 5th transformation. You see him with the fire hair and the different eyebrows and the different eyes. So definitely we'll be talking about that as well, because it seems like it has some type of connections with possibly with Lunarians, or I'm not sure if this is just something having to do with Wisdom Kings. Either way, we definitely did get a lot of foreshadowing for this. Once Luffy had turned into Gear 4th, Hyogoro pointed out that he did look like the god of fire or the god of sun, which, you know, and depending on the translation that you read, because of the where his hair was and the poses that he would take, he definitely had the air of a wisdom king. So wanted to talk about a few things in regards to the chapter. It definitely was a bit of a roller coaster ride, and Oda wanted to kind of shift the tone a little bit back and forth. So we get hype in the beginning, we get a little bit of emotion in the middle, we come back to some more hype and some fun, but at the same time, it's supposed to be a little bit serious. At least that's what we're supposed to be, taking it serious, because this is the final battle between Luffy and Kaido. But at the same time, Oda is not afraid to make it a little bit fun and even take one of the most dangerous Yonko in the series so far, in Kaido, and basically turn him into a Looney Tunes character. It was wild. So I definitely enjoyed the ride. I didn't know how to feel at certain points But I loved it all because I knew that this is going to be so much more hype to come in the future as far as what the potential Luffy can do with this devil fruit. It will probably be endless. So maybe when he gets to fighting Blackbeard, he'll definitely come up with imagining some new things because he'll have so many more fights in between now and then. Some people have skepticized that, Blackbeard may potentially get another devil fruit. Not 100% sold on that just yet. We already know that the darkness fruit is pretty broken because of the fact that it can nullify any devil fruit, which is not just it's definitely unlike any other Logia in itself. So the darkness devil fruit, we don't even know fully about. It may be some type of really, really special devil fruit, just like Luffy's devil fruit is. And it's interesting how similar that the two devil fruits look, the darkness fruit and the Gomu Gomu no fruit. Well, let's say now the human fruit. The model Nika, the Nika fruit, whatever you guys want to call it. So definitely wanted to also point out a few parallels because Wano has been paralleling a lot of Thriller Bark, and we've seen past arcs since the time skip have all been kind of paralleling a lot of arcs in the pre-time skip. Like Alabasta and Dressrosa, there are a lot of parallels there. Even Whole Cake Island kind of had some parallels to Enies Lobby because they were trying to save Robin and his lobby, and then they tried to go save Sanji in Whole Cake Island. And both fights for Luffy were pretty difficult as far as fighting Rob Lucci and Katakuri, two of the best fights in the series, arguably. But this one definitely, the way he was swinging around Kaido, bashing him back and forth, looked just like when he was Nightmare Luffy fighting against Oars. So, what I am expecting as far as potential drawbacks, it doesn't seem like he's using Haki like he does in Gear 4th, but he was emanating it a lot, and it possibly may be draining to do all of this. Now, one thing to point out really quickly about mythical zones, which now explains a lot about why Luffy was always able to get back up after he was defeated multiple times in the past, is that they're super durable, and no matter how many times they get knocked down, they somehow can get back up again. We saw that in in Impel Down with the Jailer Beast. The awakened the Jailer Beast who we thought were defeated, and somehow they got back up. So maybe Morge's theory is gonna come true, and all of Kaido's crew may be coming back for some round 2s. Who knows? We'll see. But if this is any type of parallel to Thriller Bark, there will be some type of threat to come up after Kaido is defeated. So now moving on from the parallels, I wanted to jump into a few predictions. So one thing I will point out, I was definitely wrong in my chapter 1037 review when I was talking about the devil fruit that I thought the Gorosei were talking about, because it's clearly the Luffy's devil fruit. I said I had the possibility that it might be thinking that because of the potential for gigantification, and with Gear 5, yeah, gigantification is certainly possible. But I definitely will take that up. But I'll take my wins as well, because I did say that awakening this devil fruit will most likely be what will give Luffy the title of Joy Boy. So Joy Boy, Sun God Nika, we theorized that they were all potentially Luffy at some point, and here we got it, all of the explanations all in one, which I think was amazing storytelling, the way Oda was foreshadowing all these bits and pieces, and he's giving it to us all in one shot. So this was dope. Another theory I wanted to quickly bring up was the Hanuman Theory, because Hanuman and the Sun Wukong theory were something that were popular as far as what people thought if he would be a mythical Zoan, and it seems as though Oda did kind of go that route, but he made a quick left because he didn't want to completely make it one of those, but he did take a bit of both, I would say, mainly Hanuman. And if you don't know the Hanuman theory, I'll quickly just briefly describe it. Hanuman was a Hindu deity that was a reincarnation of Shiva, and some of the abilities that Hanuman had was to be able to extend the lengths of his body, also had a rubbery type body, so he was able to take a lot of damage. He was a war general, as far as I remember, and he would definitely rally people along his side. So whenever he was going into battle, all traits that Luffy does have. And then Hanuman, I believe, also tried to capture the sun. So that kind of is where you get, the sun god Nika, as far as Luffy being that representation of the dawn. So this is great to parallel against Blackbeard, with Blackbeard being the darkness and Luffy being the sun. And when Blackbeard was fighting Ace, he was saying that, oh, let's see who will win, the darkness or the sun. And when Ace literally made a sun with his fire powers to fight against Blackbeard. So now we'll probably see a bigger, hyper version of that when we do finally get that battle of Luffy versus Blackbeard. So another quick theory I wanted to bring up, as far as what I think he'll be able to do with his devil fruit, because of the fact that he basically can almost imagine himself to be anything, and he may pull out some more abilities that are similar to like categories. Like maybe he'll roll himself into like a donut or like a tire, because of that, the ability that he saw Katakuri doing, and he'll bounce all over the place. I'm definitely expecting for him to have a wide range of abilities. One thing I do want to quickly add is, I don't think that when the Goro say, we'll find out today actually with the official coming out, the official translation, but I don't think that they were saying that it is like a overpowered devil fruit. I think they were saying, as far as a ridiculous power, is because of you can do these zany things that Luffy is doing right now, and it's only limited to your imagination. Now, I do believe it may be possible that Roger might have had this devil fruit, because once they got to Laugh Tale, they knew the truth about everything. They knew the truth about Joy Boy and all of these things, and about devil fruits. So I'm pretty sure Roger was aware of the devil fruit, and that's how Shanks possibly knew about it. I don't think Shanks went and just stole the devil fruit by accident. I think he may have known that the true abilities of this devil fruit, and he possibly wanted to steal it to either have one of his crewmates eat it, or maybe even Ace, because it's potential that Roger said that he thought his son may be Joy Boy. Now, I'm not 100% sold on that, only because I've read the Ace novels and we didn't get anything like that from Shanks, as far as him wanting to see Ace in any regards. I mean, at that time also, Ace had already eaten a devil fruit, so maybe that's what he was like, fate wasn't meant to be for Ace to eat that devil fruit. And also Luffy had already eaten it, of course. So that was, I think, pretty interesting. And that's possibly maybe why Shanks may have been hanging out around Windmill Village. Maybe he thought he would have been able to find Ace as a child. Who knows? So that pretty much is most of my thoughts on the devil fruit. I may potentially be coming out with some more during the week, but definitely, to me, one of the greatest chapters so far in all of One Piece. Super ridiculously hype. And what I think is going to be going on in 1045, we're going to definitely get more of this fight with Luffy and Kaido. I'm still curious as to what's going on with Denjiro. Now that Orochi and Kanjuro are out of the story, I'm not sure what role Denjiro will still have to play. I could be wrong, because I thought, we've thought that Orochi, well, at least Kanjuro, we thought may have been out of the story before, but who knows what's going to happen with these guys. They've come back a million times like they're freaking mythical Zoans. Oh, Orochi is a mythical Zoan. But either way, we'll see what's going to happen with Denjiro. Hopefully, I'm hoping that. Zoro wasn't mentioned in this chapter at all, so he potentially will be coming back to show us that he won his battle against Death. Another quick theory that people have been discussing, as far as with Luffy's eyes. I said I wanted to talk about that later. So with Luffy's eyes having some type of connection with Zunisha, Im, Mihawk, interestingly enough, who trained Zoro, and Zoro's left eye has not been opened. So will Zoro come back from this death experience with a awakened eye, and his eye will be similar to Mihawk's and Luffy's. We'll see. I used to think that was a ridiculous theory. I don't know anymore, because we've been freaking lied to for over 1,000 chapters about Luffy's devil fruit. Anything can happen now. Zoro could come back with Sharingan, okay? If y'all want to hear that, who knows? He can come back with Sharingan. All right. But I don't know. I definitely am really curious to see what's going to happen with Zoro and Luffy going forward. Sanji's observation haki is going to be on a different level. I don't want to really get into every single straw hat, but I do feel that the monster trio will potentially all have Conqueror's haki. I haven't really shared that thought about Sanji yet, but I will be discussing a Conqueror's haki theory video, as well as a Sanji video, which I will share my thoughts on that theory. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up the theories. Oh, actually, as far as what's going to be happening with the rest of Wano country, the skyboats have been set off. We saw a couple chapters ago. So I'm expecting them to eventually now start to see the island of Onigashima once those skyboats are getting a little bit higher. And this is going to be when Kaido will actually most likely be defeated, because they're going to most likely get to see it. So, that's going to definitely be happening. If not this next chapter, the following, we have to be seeing what's happening, where Onigashima is in relation to the mainland. And I'm really curious as to what Zunisha's role is going to be. I'm not sure if I did mention this in the reveal of Zunisha, that he may potentially use his trunk like he did with making it rain on the island on his back, possibly using his trunk to put out the fires on Onigashima to save most of our allies. So we're gonna see what's going to be happening. Definitely look out for some more content this week. I appreciate you guys for checking in. It's your boy Gabe D Champ. Peace.